Hi again. I'm Mark with Mark's Minerals Videos. I'm going to do a basic setup of my shop today, an idea of what I'm working with, how I work, stuff you wouldn't normally see while I'm cutting. Had a really good question about drip irrigation and what I would use. I've converted stuff in the past. Here's a juice container, gallon size, and I got some tubing from Home Depot, from irrigation department, either black or clear, some glue that's water activated, not necessarily brand specific, but this Gorilla Glue works really well, the white. As soon as it hits water, it starts to foam up. It's water activated, so it dries really quickly, which is nice. And then you're going to need one of these spigots, these little turny jobs here at the top. Ideally, you can take one of your boring holes, just bore in less than the diameter of the hose. You would push the hose in, glue it on both ends, spray it with just a drop of water, and voila! Let it set for about 10 minutes, and it should be watertight, and you're good to go. So, if you want a water drip system, you could even do it in the whole gallon-sized container. Excuse me. If you're going to want the water to run, you have to make sure to take the cap off. You'll create a vacuum so the water won't run. So, take the cap off, water will run. You can put the cap back on if you want to keep the water in place. Alright, and basic hosing, basic tubing, and that whole setup will cost you about $5. Alright, another person asks, how do I see the stones that I'm working on? Well, I've got a couple of things that I use. You can see right here I've got a magnifying lamp. It's quite bright, that I can look through to see what's going on. And I've also got my visor. Most of the time you won't even see anything else. When I'm working on the stone, I've got my tool, I've got my stone. I'm usually about 6 inches away, which is another reason that I'm so adamant about wearing respirators. So if you're going to cut fire agate, you should get a respirator. They're easy to put on, take off. Number of different styles that work really well. I've got the 3M ones with the exchangeable filters, just because they're easy to use. I like those. Okie dokie. So besides having something to see, look up close, good ventilation, lights, drip system, water. I've seen a lot of people who are asking, am I cutting too deeply? How much pressure should I be using? If you're using a flex shaft, there's a certain weight that you're going to feel of the flex shaft just hanging there. It's almost nothing. You're just basically keeping that tip in place while you're cutting, and the diamonds that are bonded inside or sintered within the metal, that's what's going to do your cutting for you. Now, if you're curious as to where to get some bits, I'm a Diamond Pacific dealer, and I'm happy to help you. You can contact me at mark.ruiz.fireagate@gmail.com, or you can check out the website at marksminerals.org, and that has a link for everything else. Let's see. The only other question is, do I provide rough? I do provide some Aguas Calientes rough. I've got some that I'm showing off on eBay under marked 2,400 plus carat lots of either small or large. I weigh all of them heavy, and I always throw in a little gift. Pardon me. Plus, I'm running a sale right now. Anyhow, If you're looking for some stones, another thing you can do is suggest to a friend that they also subscribe and like my page. If I keep getting some likes and subscriptions, at 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm just going to give away 3 stones. And I'm trying to decide right now if I'm going to do finished stones, rough stones, or a mix of both to 3 of the subscribers from the page. And I might even broaden that and just do 5. Just as a way of saying thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your questions. Thanks for your support. If there's anything else that I can help you with, we're going to do a quick tour of the shop next. I'm just going to give you a basic rundown of... Alrighty, we're going to go a little further into my shop. Here's the Tupperware box that I use as a container to cut. I've cut armholes out of the side, and then I took pipe insulation foam tape and double layered that so that I wouldn't have to worry about the jagged edges with my arms. I've got a small container inside of there that I'm soaking fire agate in now. I typically soak fire agate overnight before I start cutting. I've got my magnifying lighted visor, and I also have a secondary light. This is an OT light. I do like OT lights. They're a full spectrum light. They give you really good color definition. Within my container, I've got a lip so that if the water builds up, it's not going to pour over the edge. I came up with this so I could work inside during the winter and not throw rock dust everywhere. I got a thin 1/8 of an inch plexiglass cover, and this was a piece of scrap that I picked up at a plexiglass shop for $5, and it's lasted over a year. It's got a couple of dents and dings, but nothing really bad. I wash it with Dawn soap when I'm done, and I'll probably be replacing it here soon. So $5 for, even 6 months of work would have been way worth it to let me work inside at the volume that I do. Every once in a while, I grab a natural sponge and I just wipe the plexiglass off, and then I can see clearly again. I've got a couple different types of rough that I'm using. I try to delineate it out. They're separate between Mexican, Aguascalientes, Slaughter Mountain, Deer Creek, and then some different pieces from other people. I've got a variety of hand tools that I use. Here's some of the wetting agent that I like to add to my water. It gives a better adhesion of the water to the stone, so your tips don't burn up quite as quickly or get quite as hot. I've got some diamond spray polish. This is really great with felt burrs. And then while I'm spreading the polish, I like to use, zoom in a little better, I like to use Microsol. This stuff is great for keeping a nice fluid movement on the stone with the polish. Got a series of bits that I'm using. These are all Diamond Pacific tools, except for the scissors and such. And then these are VH Technologies Diathin and Diaflex wheels. Excuse me. And then in the foreground, I've got some Varenker bits that I'm using, and then a wooden spindle that I've attached to a bit. That way, I can use this for polishing. If you're going to be polishing, one other thing I want to say is you want to make sure you use a dedicated bit for each grit of polish. So for my 260, for my 260 grit, I've got the bits that I use for that 260. Same with the 14,000, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. Pardon me. But after 50,000, everything's pretty glassy. You don't really need that. That's just additional, and some of the softer stones require that. Fire agate, not so much. Then I've got my foot pedals down here, and for my foot pedals, I can control the flex shaft tool. I have a Fordham that's my favorite. As a backup, I have a Chicago Electric that I use, and that's out of Harbor Freight. If you're going to get something like that, I definitely suggest you get the insurance. They don't last nearly as long as the Fordham, and you will have to replace it at some point. Then I've got more rough over here. I've got a series of different types of rough and things that I'm working with. Different various projects. My desk really does look like it's in some disarray, but I know exactly where everything is. So that's the basic rundown of my shop. I'm giving you an idea of what I'm working with and what I use. If you have any questions or suggestions, I ask that you please email me at mark.ruiz.fireagate@gmail.com, or you can check out marksminerals.org. And I really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. If you'd like to see more, suggest it to a friend. And remember that we're going to be giving away quite a bit of fire agate here at 1,000 subscriptions. So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.